Hello YouTube, I Hate here with my friend Jackal.
Hello.
And we are going to be reading Sweet Apple Massacre. How fun, because no one's read it, because it's such a new and unheard of fan fiction.
I haven't heard of it. Well, I probably have, I just never bothered to look into it. So This will be new for me, so you're getting my uncensored reaction, so that'll be fun.
Yes, it will be. Big Macintosh surveyed the many apple trees that made up Sweet Apple Acres. It was nearly Applebuck season once again, and it looked as though they'd be having a bumper harvest this year. He nodded, satisfied. His sister Applejack walked up beside him. "Well, boy, howdy. I'm sure glad you ain't injured this time, Big Macintosh," she said. "Why, there's even more apples on them trees than last year." "Yup," Big Macintosh replied in his characteristic manner. "Them's a lot of apples." Applejack was silent for a moment, enjoying the feel of the slight breeze against her blonde mane. "Say, I don't suppose you've seen Apple Bloom anywhere, have you? I've been looking for her all day, and she ain't been nowhere to be found." Big Macintosh shook his head. "Sorry, sis. Can't say I have." "Darn, that silly filly's probably gone off somewhere with all her friends. I just hope she ain't getting herself into any mischief, or else there'll be hay to pay."
Gee, with the title like Sweet Apple Massacre, I wonder what's approaching next.
"Don't you go worrying yourself, Applejack," he replied. "I'm sure she's just perfectly fine. But anyway, I need to get back to the barn. I gotta go and press some apples for some of my home-brewed apple cider. I hoof-picked a few apples earlier, especially, and all nice and plump and ripe, and they ain't gonna press themselves." Applejack laughed. "You sure do love your cider, don't you? Just make sure Apple Bloom don't get her hooves on it once again. We all know what happened last time." Big Macintosh chuckled along with his sister. "Yup." The large red pony trotted back.
She got drunk and had sex with a lot of people.
Oh, God. The large red pony trotted back to the barn and gently closed the door. He opened up a trap door with his mouth and went down the steps into an old, disused apple cellar. It was usually filled with junk, scrap metal, old worn-out cloth, old rope, and various other bits and bobs that had outlived their usefulness. Big Macintosh...
Why don't they just get rid of it, then?
You'll see. Big Macintosh often came down here when he wanted to get away from the world, to withdraw for a little while, for some peace and quiet. Today was different, however. The old rope, at least, had found a new use, because in the cellar were Apple Bloom and her fellow Cutie Mark Crusaders, Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, bound and gagged.
They have lesbian sex orgies.
Propped up against the wall. Three pairs of scared, round eyes looked up at Big Macintosh as he approached. "Now then, you three fillies," he said, as placid as ever, "y'all need to learn a lesson. You need to learn not to mess around with Big Macintosh."
Shit.
"All I want is peace and quiet," he said, looking directly at Apple Bloom. The little red-haired filly cowered under his gaze. "All I want is a quiet laugh without y'all, you Cutie Mark Crusaders, running around the place, making all the noise. When I'm finished with y'all, there ain't gonna be no noise from you ever again."
Whoa, wait a second. Why is Big Macintosh getting his panties in a bunch over this? I've never seen Apple Bloom, have any of her Cutie Mark Crusaders on the farm, let alone making a racket on the farm.
Big Macintosh approached Scootaloo, flapped her wings, struggling to get off the ground.
Wait, which one is Scootaloo again?
The Pegasus.
Oh, right, okay.
The one who worships Rainbow Dash.
Oh, right, sorry, never mind.
Big Macintosh laughed and grabbed one of her wings. He twisted, at first slow, watching the pain visibly grow in her eyes, but then tore hard, smiling slightly when he heard the snap and the muffled whimper that came from Scootaloo. He then threw her to the ground. "Your wings are useless, you silly filly," he said pleasantly. He then went to a toolbox and took out a rusty knife with a jagged blade and dropped it in front of the three fillies. "I'm going to take off those gags now," he said. "First one."
Whoa, wait, they were ball gags?
No, they weren't. Sorry, I'm just so used to reading ball gag.
Okay. What the hell is that? How did he even get those? Where do they sell those in Equestria? Does Princess Molestia just have a stockpile and she just gives them away?
Like I know. Okay, you made me lose my place, you dick muncher.
Alright, we'll just cut that out. You can edit audio. It'll take 3 seconds.
Nah, I don't feel like cutting it. This is all just going as it is.
Yeah, there we go. 20 dislikes.
Yup. First one of you to scream gets their tongues cut out. He took off Sweet Belle's gag first. She looked up at him with terror, but managed to stay quiet. Next was Scootaloo. She let out a strangled whine and was breathing heavily, still in horrendous pain from her broken wing, but managed to resist the temptation. Finally, he removed the gag from his sister, Apple Bloom. She stared at him with her large round eyes, filled with fear and incomprehension. This was Big Macintosh, after all, her big brother and the gentlest of souls, wasn't he? Surely this was just a horrible joke. But then she had seen what he did to Scootaloo's wing, and it was definitely no joke. She took a deep breath. Applejack! Big Macintosh shoved his hoof in Apple Bloom's mouth, silencing her scream. He sighed and shook his head. I told you not to scream, Apple Bloom. You should listen to your big brother.
I mean, what was Apple Bloom thinking in the first place? They're in like a cellar, right? Yep. And Applejack is like across the damn farm. I don't care if you have the vocals of, I don't know, Justin Bieber, that high pitch. Those voices ain't reaching across the farm.
You never know. Okay, so, again, you made me lose my place, you cockmuncher.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'll scream again, and Applejack will hear, and Apple Bloom said falteringly. You know, I kinda hope you do. After all, I still ain't forgiven Applejack for that injury she gave me last Applebuck season. If you want Applejack to join you...
Wait, what was that? She gave what?
She gave him an injury, remember that?
Right. Yeah. Sorry. I would keep better track if I was actually reading it, but I kind of like hearing you voice over it. Your voice is kind of, increases the creepiness just a little bit. No offense.
That's the point, my friend.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's keep going. I don't want to drag this out too long.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm sure they'll enjoy our commentary. Not really, but, you know.
Well, bronies like everything.
Yeah, anything penny-related.
Of course.
Like, I'm enjoying this.
Alright, go ahead.
After all, I still ain't forgiven Applejack for that there injury she gave me last Applebuck season. If you want Applejack to join you all down here, scream away. I, for one, would welcome her company. But now, to business. Big Macintosh picked up the knife and loomed over the cowering Apple Bloom. He pinned her down with a powerful hoof and stuck the knife into Apple Bloom's mouth. Sweetie Belle vomited at the sight, the thick yellow chunks of acidic-smelling liquids splattering heavily on the floor. Scootaloo managed not to be sick, but rather gasped, sobbed, and choked with panic. Big Macintosh forced open Apple Bloom's mouth, and with some effort cut out her tongue.
Well, just like that, after going into great detail over everything else, he doesn't bother to describe the cutting up the mouth. I'm kind of disappointed.
Apple Bloom tried to scream, but her mouth was too full of blood, so it was more of a muted gurgle. After a short while, she collapsed, tears streaming down her eyes, falling unconscious from the shock and the pain. Big Macintosh then took the tongue and rolled it in a puddle of putrid vomit on the floor. He smiled at Scootaloo. You hungry?
Oh, God.
Scootaloo shook her head vigorously and cast him into defiant glare. If Rainbow Dash were here, she would kick the crap out of you maniac! Big Macintosh shrugged. Well, she ain't. And anyway, I wouldn't be too sure about that. Rainbow Dash ain't as tough as she likes to make out. He shoved the vomit-covered tongue into Scootaloo's mouth and used
I guess that was kind of right. They do have some sort of lesbian contact. That was a French kiss, I guess.
Don't you go try and spit it out now, he said calmly with a little laugh, and the filly struggled and squirmed. Didn't your mother ever teach you how important it is to chew your food?
Yeah, bitch. Swallow.
Scootaloo closed her eyes and flapped... hold on, I lost my own place when I was scrolling. And flapped her one good wing desperately, eventually swallowing Apple Bloom's tongue. Big Macintosh, still holding the writhing Scootaloo down with his strong hooves, then mounted the orange filly and slid his penis into her tight virgin pussy, raping her for several minutes while Sweetie Belle watched, trembling with revulsion. Apple Bloom was still out cold, blood pouring from her torn-up mouth. Cute and marked Crusader rape victims, Big Macintosh said with tender mockery as he fucked Scootaloo, followed by a gentle chuckle. Guess you all found your purpose in life now. Special Town's getting raped. Yup. Eventually, he withdrew from Scootaloo and gripped her head tight, repeatedly punched her hard with a hoof in the face, causing her nose to shatter and spurt with blood. He scooped up some of the blood and some of Sweetie Belle's vomit with his tongue and held it in his mouth so that it mixed with his saliva, and then he brought his mouth to Scootaloo's and spat the rank mixture into her mouth.
Oh, wow. That is gross.
He clammed his hoof over her mouth and held her nose until she gagged and eventually had no choice but to swallow.
That's like 2 girls, 1 cup gross right there.
Oh, it hasn't even gotten bad yet. As
Oh.
Scootaloo retched, spat, and cried, he turned to Sweetie Belle. He grabbed her easily as she was too shocked and traumatized to respond. With apparent amusement, he rammed her horn up Scootaloo's ass. The horn was...
Wait, Big Mac had the horn?
No, he took...
right, he took a...
Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go. I must have read that wrong, something I don't know.
No,
The horn was too big and hard. The skin around Scootaloo's ass ripped, and blood and fecal matter first trickled and then poured profusely down onto Sweetie Belle's face, as well as urine as Scootaloo pissed herself. "You keep doing that, Sweetie Belle," he said. The unicorn carried on, pushing her horn up Scootaloo's anus, slowly but surely. Her normally
Big Mac, haven't you ever heard that Tenacious D song? Sometimes you gotta fuck her gently.
So, as I was saying... where the fuck was I?
You were right after she had pissed
Her normally well-groomed pink and purple mane was now stained a reddish-brown, glistening with the wetness of piss and blood. If you stop, I'll come over there and get creative. I may seem a bit dense, but I'm actually quite a creative stallion, you know? Big Macintosh said with a wink. Yup. He went to Apple Bloom and penetrated his sister's unconscious body with his hard cock. While he violated her, he got another knife, this one sharp and shiny. He sliced open her flank, causing her glistening intestines to flop out wetly onto the floor.
Whoa.
He glanced over and was pleased to see that Sweetie Belle was still using her horn to anally penetrate Scootaloo, and her face was now completely covered in blood, shit, and piss.
This is like if you added sex to that cupcakes. That's basically what this is.
He turned his attention back to Apple Bloom and scooped up her crimson entrails and wrapped them around her neck, still fucking the filly with his front hoof, and with his front hooves, he pulled and pulled until it wrapped so tightly around Apple Bloom's neck that it broke her windpipe. She was now surely dead. Big Macintosh continued fucking her furiously until her body began to lose form and collapse into a quivering... I can't even read that goddamn word. Mass of fur, blood, and flesh.
Wow. Wait, so... what is he gonna tell people when, like, all 3 of the Cutie Mark Crusaders don't show up?
Fuck would I know.
I mean, a lot of fans are gonna be angry with Macintosh. And
This fan fiction's been around since the middle of season 1, so...
Oh, I know. I was making a continuity joke.
Oh. I see what you did there. Okay.
Okay, so he's right after he had, like, collapsed into a ball of fur and blood or whatever the shit was.
He then discarded his baby sister's carcass as though it were nothing more than a rotten apple core. He then took the knife and grabbed Sweetie Belle, tossed her aside. He forced himself into Scootaloo's ruined anus, then took the knife and cut her from her ass in a sweeping motion up to her belly.
You know, the funny thing this is, like, this guy is a good writer, but I think he would be a lot better at this if he didn't shove in the obligatory pony references, like the rotten apple thing. Like, nobody says that. I've never heard that phrase before. And I just think it would be better if he just did it straight out. Then again, I guess it's funnier imagining, like, Big Macintosh just fucking tearing the Cutie Mark Crusaders a new one, I guess.
I'm gonna stop this recording and then pick up again.
Alright.
Then took the knife and grabbed Sweetie Belle and tossed her aside. He forced himself into Scootaloo's ruined anus, then took the knife and cut from her ass in a sweeping motion up to her belly.
Wow.
All her innards fell out. He then grabbed her head, twisted, and tore it.
I'm questioning, like, how powerful Macintosh is versus, the sharpness of the knife. I know they said he got a new shiny one, but, I mean, you can't... This isn't exactly butter, I mean... But, okay, keep going.
Yeah. He then grabbed her head, twisted it, and tore it clean off, using his immense strength, and fucked it in the mouth, and then tossed it aside. He then had sex with her headless body, both in the vagina and the ass, until he got bored. Sweetie Belle was the last remaining Cutie Mark Crusader. She herself was barely conscious, overcome with the nauseous stench of blood, shit, and piss that covered her horn and her face.
Oh, wow.
Big Macintosh pinned Sweetie Belle down with his hoof and plunged the knife into her
Don't use that voice. You're creeping me the fuck out.
Oh, God, that's the point.
No. I swear to God, I will end this right now. Don't use that voice, okay? Go back to your normal voice.
Okay. You win. Now I'm going to want to use it. God damn it.
No, just talk normal, okay, please.
Okay. Big Macintosh pinned Sweetie Belle to the floor, down with his hoof, and plunged the knife into her green eye, and twisted, causing vitreous fluid to dribble out onto the handle. At that, Sweetie Belle let out a throaty whine, and involuntarily emptied her bowels. The aroma of fresh urine and feces filled the apple cellar once again. He withdrew the knife...
How is he planning on getting that out, by the way? My question is, what happens after? How does he hide their corpses?
It's an abandoned cellar. I don't explain shit.
Well, I mean, I know it's abandoned, but, like, they store stuff in there that they don't need anymore, so eventually they're going to open it and throw something in there, and, I mean, I don't know about you, but the scent of feces, urine, blood, and decaying corpses, and most likely bugs, would probably get my attention. And for that matter, bugs would gather around the abandoned cellar. I know I'm nitpicking here.
Do you want me to do the creepy voice again?
Okay, I'll shut up.
Okay, where was I? Fresh feces, aroma, apple cell once again. He withdrew the knife and did the same thing to the other eye, each time holding her tight and sticking his hoof into her mouth to silence her agonized screams. He licked the fluid that leaked onto the knife and methodically began cutting and hacking at her front left hoof, using the rusty knife. The knife was quite blunt, so it took a very strong effort to get through the skin, bone, and cartilage, but eventually the bone splintered away and the leg came off. He did the same thing to the other legs until all four were amputated and nothing remained but bloody stumps with slimy white ligaments and broken bone shards hanging out. At some point, Sweetie Belle had passed out, the overwhelming pain too much for her to bear. He then used the knife to gouge out her left eye. He jammed his penis into her eye socket, penetrating repetitively deep into her brain, enjoying how tight her skull felt around his hard shaft, how warm and squishy the brain matter felt against
Wow.
As he did this, he twisted Sweetie Belle's neck. After finishing skull-fucking her, he cracked open her skull with a swift stamp of the hoof, and bent down and ate some of the exposed brain, taking care of a few fragments of skull bone that had gotten mixed as...
Oh, God. Why did he... Who the hell thinks like this?
Zombies!
Keep going. I want to get it over with now.
It's almost over, I promise.
Okay.
I can see the bottom.
Alright.
He spit out a few fragments of skull bone that had gotten mixed in as he chewed. It was warm, slimy, and tough, and stuck to the back of his throat. He swallowed and then raped Sweetie Belle in the ass until it tore open, and his engorged penis was smeared with what little fecal matter remained in her rectum. He then took one of Sweetie Belle's detached legs and shoved it inside her ass, and then fucked Apple Bloom and Scootaloo with his bodies the same way, forcing the amputated limb in, hoof first, as far as it could go.
Man, this big forget the fact that he's doing all this. Big Mac has got some endurance, man. He's just fucking everything.
He hasn't blown a load yet, that's what I don't get.
I know, but still, I mean, this guy, he's been going at it for a couple minutes, and he's been fucking everything.
Forcing the amputated limb in, hoof first, as far as it could go. He thought how strange it was, the still lumps of torn flesh that he was fucking...
Oh, now he thinks it's strange. Now, at no point did he go, this is kind of strange what I'm doing right here. No, now, after finally killing all three of them and doing whatever the hell that was, shoving one of their limbs up there, I don't even know what that was. I couldn't follow you right there. Now he thinks this is strange. Okay, Big Mac, it's official. You're crazy.
Hey, I don't think it's weird yet.
Oh, just go.
Okay, I have to find my place again, goddammit. He thought how strange it was that the still lumps of torn flesh that he was fucking Sweetie Belle's leg had been so vibrant and alive such a short time ago. But now all three were dead. He finished by spurting his voluminous load into Apple Bloom's destroyed backside. He watched with satisfaction as the semen and blood and shit mixed together, forming a foamy maroon pool. He bent down and greedily lapped up some of it with his tongue, pressing his tongue deep into her anal cavity so as not to miss any, letting some dribbling down his chin. It tasted foul.
Big Mac.
It tasted foul, of course, a rancid, tangy slime that burned his throat. But it felt so satisfying. He swallowed the filthy...
It felt so satisfying? Okay, no, it's not the fact that he just had sex that felt satisfying. Forget the fact that it was gross sex. It's the fact that he just tasted probably the most foul possible concoction on Earth. Okay.
Letting some of it dribble down his chin. It tasted foul, of course, a rancid, tangy slime that burned his throat, but it felt so satisfying. He swallowed the filthy goo and wiped his mouth with a hoof. It was done. Big Macintosh would finally get his peace and quiet. Big Macintosh, you down there? It was Applejack. He looked at the disfigured corpses of all three fillies, and by now all were barely recognizable as the oh-so-sweet Cutie Mark Crusaders, and realized that he felt strangely unsatisfied.
Oh, God, I know what's going to happen next.
Now Applejack. That would be a challenge. She was Ponyville's best athlete, after all. And
I thought that was Rainbow Dash.
She even had the prize of Ponyville trophy to prove it. And of course, he hadn't forgiven her for that injury. He felt his penis stiffen once again.
Ah, shit, I knew it.
Hey, Big Mac, I said, are you down there?
Yeah, that's right. Abandoned cellar, and that's like the third place Applejack looks in the first half hour that he's missing.
Voice again,
okay.
This time more insistent. Big Macintosh replied serenely, I sure am, sis. Hey, come down here a minute. I've got something to show you. Sure thing. What is it? It's a surprise.
Oh,
oh boy, I sure do love surprises.
Oh,
I'll bet. Something real nice? Big Macintosh looked at the mangled, mutilated remains of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, and his lips curled into a thin smile. Yup.
Wow.
And that, my YouTube followers, is the conclusion of Sweet Apple Massacre.
Okay. Again, I'd like to point out the fact that they claim the cellar's abandoned, and yet Applejack's like, okay, let's see, places Big Mac could be. He could be at the house, he could be in the shed, he could be in Equestria. I think I'll look in the abandoned cellar first. There we go. And I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. I think it was, damn, I forgot what I was going to say. But, oh yeah, this fanfic probably would have been a lot more disturbing if I hadn't just got done marathoning, like, Hostel and Saw. Like, all three of the shitty Hostel movies. Like, Saw, I think, is okay, but Hostel, all three of them were pretty bad. And all of them involve, like, these really elaborate, gory deaths, and some of them are pretty disturbing. Like, there's this one in Hostel 2 where the girl cuts the other girl's throat open, and she literally bathes herself in blood while getting off. And I think the fanfic probably would have been a lot more disturbing if I hadn't watched those movies just prior, like, the past couple days before hearing this.
Nah. I still kind of like Mike the Microphone's reading better.
I don't know, man. That was some pretty... Like I said, I mean, the guy's actually a pretty good writer if he just didn't use his talent towards whatever you call that.
Now I want to do my creepy voice again.
Okay, you can fuck off and do that all alone.
Oh, God, don't leave me. I don't want to be alone.
Come back, I love you. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that, whatever that was. I hope you enjoyed me being disturbed by yet another piece of the pony fandom I wish I didn't really know about.
And we'll see you all in hell.
No. We'll see you outside the Matrix.